You walk into the small hut that lies deep in the woods. Inside, a fire crackles in the hearth, casting flickering shadows on the walls. You sit nervously on a wooden stool, your eyes darting around the dimly lit room. "Welcome, my dear guest. I am pleased that you have accepted my invitation." You jump in surprise as the vampire lord materializes out of the shadows, his eyes glinting in the firelight. He wears a long black cloak that shrouds his figure in darkness. "Ah, but you see, my dear, I've been watching you for some time now. I'm intrigued by your unique qualities, and I believe that you have the potential to be a valuable asset to me. I mean that I have a proposition for you. You see, I am a vampire lord, and I rule over a vast network of the undead, but I am always in need of fresh blood and new allies to help me maintain my power. Indeed, you have certain skills that I require, skills that would be invaluable to me in my quest for dominance. Ah, but you are not just any regular person. You possess a certain resilience, a certain determination that I find fascinating. I believe that with my guidance, you could become a force to be reckoned with. Oh, but you will believe, my dear. You will believe, or you will suffer the consequences. The vampire lord's eyes flash dangerously, causing you to recoil in fear. But enough of that. Let us discuss the details of my proposition. You see, I am in need of a loyal servant, someone who will do my bidding without question. In return, I can offer you power, wealth, and eternal life. What say you, my dear guest? Will you join me in my quest for dominion over the night? Of course it is intense, my dear. But with great power comes great responsibility, and I assure you, the rewards will be more than worth the risk. The vampire lord stands and extends a hand to you. Come, let me show you the wonders of my world. You hesitantly take the vampire lord's hand, and you both disappear into the shadows. After a few moments, you materialize in a grand chamber, lit by flickering candles and adorned with ornate furnishings. Thank you, my dear. This is my sanctum, the heart of my power. Here I command a vast army of thralls, vampires, and other creatures of the night. The vampire lord gestures to a group of thralls huddled in a corner of the chamber. These are my thralls, humans who have willingly given themselves over to my control. They serve me faithfully, and in return I grant them a measure of my power. Indeed, vampires are creatures of the night, like myself. They are immortal and possess many powers that humans could only dream of. But, unlike me, they are not all as civilized. The vampire lord's eyes darken as he speaks, and the guest can sense a hint of danger in the air. But do not worry, my dear. As long as you are under my protection, no harm will come to you. You nod, still feeling a bit nervous. Good. Now, let us retire to my study. We have much to discuss. The vampire lord leads you to a smaller chamber, lined with books and parchments. He pours both of you a glass of wine and settles into a chair. Now, my dear, let us talk of your future in my world. Everything shifts to a group of soldiers who stand watch atop a stone fortress in the land of Nimthra. They are heavily armed and armored, scanning the horizon for any signs of danger.
I still don't understand why we're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, just in case a vampire lord decides to come waltzing into our kingdom.
Yeah, it's not like they're a threat or anything.
The soldiers share a few more jokes before their captain approaches. He's a grizzled veteran, with scars lining his face and arms.
Silence, you lot. We're here on orders from the king, and we'll stay here until he says otherwise.
And what if the vampire lord comes knocking on our door? What then?
Then we fight. We're the soldiers of Nimthra, damn it. We don't back down from a fight.
As if on cue, the sky darkens and a cold wind picks up. The soldiers draw their weapons, ready for battle.
What the hell is that?
In the distance, they can see a swarm of bats flying towards them. But as they draw closer, they can see that something else is leading the way. A figure, dark and menacing.
Get ready, men. It's the vampire lord.
The vampire lord lands gracefully on the battlements, his eyes glowing red in the dim light.
Ah, Captain, it's been too long. We're not afraid of you, vampire. You and your kind have no place in Nimthra.
Is that so? You forget, Captain, that I have friends in high places. The king himself has granted me passage through your lands.
That's a lie!
Believe what you will, but I warn you, Captain, if you stand in my way, you will suffer the consequences. The soldiers tense, ready to attack, but before they can make a move, the vampire lord disappears in a swirl of smoke and bats. As you walk into the grand hall of the Nimthra castle, where the king of Nimthra sits on his throne, the vampire lord and you are present, along with a few of the king's advisors.
Lord Draven, I'm glad you could make it. I trust your journey was uneventful.
Your Majesty, it was as pleasant as one could expect, and may I introduce my guest?
Ah, of course. Who do you have with you?
This is my beloved, a humble traveller who sought shelter in my abode.
Ah, I see. And what brings you to Nimthra? Well, you're welcome here, but I'm afraid this meeting concerns more pressing matters.
I trust it's not another foolish attempt to drive my kind from your lands?
No, Lord Draven. This is a matter of utmost secrecy. I trust that you will keep it confidential.
Of course, Your Majesty. I am at your service.
Good. You see, Lord Draven, there have been whispers of a rebellion brewing in the southern provinces. Our spies have uncovered evidence of a plot to overthrow me and seize the throne.
And what does this have to do with me?
Everything. You see, our sources have told us that the rebels have been in contact with your kind. We believe that they're planning to use your powers to aid their cause.
That's outrageous. I would never assist rebels against a legitimate ruler.
I'm inclined to believe you, Lord Draven, but my advisors tell me that we can't be too careful. That's why I've invited you here, to ask for your assistance in rooting out these traitors.
And what makes you think I would help you?
Because you have no love for rebels, Lord Draven. They threaten the stability of all kingdoms, including yours. And, besides, I'm offering you a chance to prove your loyalty to Nimthra. If you help us stop this rebellion, you'll earn our gratitude and our trust.
Very well, Your Majesty. I accept your offer. But mark my words, if I discover any hint of treachery on your part, I will not hesitate to act.
I would expect nothing less, Lord Draven. Together we will crush this rebellion and preserve the peace of our lands.
You are back in the Vampire Lord's sanctum, where you and the Vampire Lord are sitting in front of a large map of the southern provinces. This is where the rebels have their main stronghold, and here they've been stockpiling weapons and supplies. Oh, I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Let's just say that they won't be expecting what's coming to them. Just as he finishes speaking, a thrall captain bursts into the room.
My lord, urgent news from the rebellion front.
What is it?
The rebels have launched a surprise attack on one of our outposts. The forces are engaged in fierce combat with them as we speak.
How dare they? They will pay dearly for this. Actually, there might be. I need someone to scout out the rebel camp and report back to me with any information they can gather. Are you willing to undertake this task? Very well, my beloved. You have my gratitude. I will send one of my thralls with you to ensure your safety.
My lord, may I suggest that I accompany our guest on this mission? I have experience with scouting and can ensure their safety.
Very well, Captain. You may go. And be careful, my beloved. The rebels are dangerous, and they will not hesitate to kill you if they discover you. The scene shifts to a dense forest, where you and the thrall captain are making your way towards the rebel camp.
We should be close now. Stay behind me and stay quiet.
As you approach the camp, you see rebel soldiers patrolling the perimeter. The thrall captain motions for you to stay hidden, as he scouts the area. After a few moments, he returns with a map and some notes.
I've gathered some valuable intel. We need to get back to the Vampire Lord's sanctum as quickly as possible.
As you make your way back, you are suddenly ambushed by a group of soldiers. The thrall captain puts up a fierce fight, but he is ultimately overpowered and killed. You are left alone to face the attackers, one of whom is revealed to be Torvald, an old friend. Well, well, well. Look who we have here. It's been a long time, Sasha. Just fighting for what I believe in. And it seems like you've picked the wrong side, my friend. No, so you're working for a vampire now. That's rich. Well, I'm sorry. Don't make this any harder than it has to be. Join us, Sasha. We could use someone with your skills. You don't understand. The Vampire Lord doesn't care about you. He's just using you to further his own agenda. You're blinded by his promises. But in the end, he'll just discard you like he's done with so many others. Look, I don't want to fight you. I just want you to see the truth. Come with me, and I'll show you what you're fighting for. Please, Sasha, you were my friend once. I don't want to have to hurt you. You make your way deeper into the rebel camp, where Torvald shows you the true extent of the oppression they are fighting against. You are left with a sense of unease, torn between your loyalty to the Vampire Lord and your newfound understanding of the rebels' cause. You need to know the truth about what happened to your mother. Your mother was captured by the Vampire Lord's forces years ago. She was one of the first to stand up against his tyranny, and for that, she was punished. You've been fighting against him for years. We've seen the atrocities he's committed firsthand. We didn't know until it was too late. By the time we found out, she was already in the Vampire Lord's clutches. We've been trying to find her ever since, but he's kept her hidden from us. That's why we need you with us. Together we can overthrow the Vampire Lord and put an end to his reign of terror. As you continue to talk, the sound of approaching footsteps interrupts you. Torvald quickly draws his weapon, but it's too late. A group of Vampire Lord's soldiers has surrounded you.
Well, well, well. What do we have here?
A little rebellion,
I see.
We won't go down without a fight. We fight for your mother, for our people, for a better future. You engage in a fierce battle, but in the end, you are outnumbered and outmatched. You watch in horror as Torvald is struck down by one of the soldiers. Moments later, you are being escorted by the Vampire Lord's soldiers to their sanctum.
You did quite a job back there, infiltrating the rebellion and taking down their leader. The Vampire Lord will be pleased. That may be, but the Vampire Lord's power is absolute. There is no hope for rebellion against him.
You arrive at the Vampire Lord's sanctum, where you are once again greeted by the Vampire Lord himself. Ah, my dear guest. I hear you've been causing quite a stir in my realm. Freedom. What is freedom but an illusion? These people need someone to guide them, to protect them, and that is what I do. You would do well to watch your tongue, my dear guest. You are in my domain now, and I will not tolerate disrespect. You can sense the danger that you're in, but you refuse to back down. I admire your courage, but it will be of no use. You cannot win against me. You are a mere mortal, and I am a powerful vampire lord. There is no contest. The tension in the room is palpable, as the Vampire Lord and you continue to stare at each other. You are determined to fight for what is right, but you can't help but feel a sense of hopelessness in the face of the Vampire Lord's power. You know, my dear guest, I once knew a woman who was as courageous as you are. She fought against me with all her might, just like you do now. But in the end, she succumbed to her own weakness, and I had to take control. Her name was Abigail. She was a beautiful woman with a heart full of fire. I fell in love with her the moment I saw her. We were together for a long time, and I tried everything in my power to keep her by my side. But she was too weak. She fell ill with tuberculosis, and no matter what I did, I couldn't save her. Love is not something that only humans can feel, my dear. Vampires can love just as deeply. But it is a curse that brings pain and suffering. Believe what you will, the truth remains the same. Your mother was a remarkable woman, just like you. But she was too weak to withstand the trials of this world. And so I have kept her with me, hoping that one day she will recover. But alas, it seems that it is not meant to be. Patience, my dear guest, all in due time. But for now, I have other plans for you. The Vampire Lord's eyes glow with an otherworldly light as they take control of your mind, making you obey their every command. You will do as I say, without question. You will be my loyal servant, and you will help me achieve my goals. Do you understand? The Vampire Lord smiles, satisfied with their control over you. The Vampire Lord leads you down a dark, narrow corridor, lined with flickering torches. You feel a sense of dread wash over you as you approach a large chamber at the end of the hall. You will see your mother now, but remember, if you betray me, if you try to escape or harm me in any way, she will suffer the consequences. Draven pushes open the doors to the chamber, revealing a large tank filled with a strange, glowing liquid. Suspended in the tank, you see your mother, still and lifeless. Your mother is very important to me. She was once my love, and I have kept her here, hoping to find a cure for her illness. But so far, my efforts have been in vain. Anything, you say? Very well. From now on, you will be my personal servant. You will do as I say, without question or hesitation. And in return, I will consider releasing your mother from this container. But remember, one false move, and her faith will be sealed. Draven smiles triumphantly, pleased with her hold over the guest. They turn and walk away, leaving you alone with your mother. You look up at the tank, determination etched on your face. You know that you are in a precarious position, but you will do whatever it takes to save your mother and escape from the clutches of the Vampire Lord. As you stare at the lifeless body within the tank, something resonates deep within you. At first, you are filled with a harrowing fear that something is wrong.
Grasp the power within you. Seize your destiny.
You reach out towards your mother. Like a wave, you are washed over with visions of the future, past and present. Vitality surges through you. The Vampire Lord slowly returns and stands before the container, holding the guest's mother his hand gently resting on the glass as he stares longingly at her. She was my greatest love, and I couldn't bear to see her go. I tried everything to save her, but even my powers couldn't bring her back from the brink. So, I kept her here, in stasis, hoping for a cure. You dare to challenge me? You are nothing but a mere mortal, and I am a lord of the undead. The power resonating deep within you suddenly surges forward. You foolish mortal, you cannot defeat me! The vampire lord lunges forward, his fangs bared, but you are quick, driving your hand into his heart. The vampire lord lets out a blood-curdling scream as he disintegrates into ash, the room filled with a gust of wind. You rush over to the container, smashing it open with a nearby object. Your mother's body falls to the ground, and you frantically check for a pulse. To your surprise, your mother stirs, coughing up the liquid she was submerged in. Mother's too weak to respond, but you are strong enough to carry her now. Something strange has happened, and you feel a sense of dread, but thankfully that is overcome as the gratitude over your mother being alive arises. The two of you begin to leave the chamber. As you walk, you look back at the ashes of the vampire lord, a sense of relief washing over you. The two of you exit the chamber, leaving the vampire lord's stronghold behind, finally able to start a new life together.